Inglewood, California, under the searing California sun and the echo of history being made, the worlds of two wrestling dynasties collided in an unforgettable spectacle. WWE, the global giant, and Lucha Libre AAA worldwide, the pulse of Mexican wrestling, merged forces not as rivals, but as creators of a new chapter in sports entertainment. Worlds Collide 2025. This wasn't just an event, it was a reckoning. It was the clash of cultures, the fusion of styles, and the celebration of traditions, artistry, and athleticism. It was the first breath of a new era. The crowd at Inglewood's packed venue bore witness to what could only be described as wrestling's rebirth. From the moment the ring bell rang, it was clear this would be no ordinary show. This was not Raw, not SmackDown, not Triplemania. This was something greater, something deeper. A mosaic of storytelling stitched together with high-flying maneuvers, bone-jarring slams, and emotions that soared as high as the luchadores themselves. The opening match sent tremors through the arena. NXT's newest prospect, Axiom, stood across the ring from AAA veteran El Hijo del Vikingo, a duel that symbolized the passing of the torch and the refusal to let it go. In 15 minutes of breathtaking speed and artistic violence, the two men painted a masterpiece with every dropkick, every moonsault, every desperate kick out. And when Axiom finally sealed the match with a thunderous avalanche Spanish fly, the crowd didn't cheer for a victor, they roared for the legacy unfolding before them. The energy was electric. The message was clear. This was not just a crossover. This was a covenant. Backstage segments weaved in the depth of what was at stake. Rey Mysterio appeared, not as a competitor, but as a godfather watching over his two families uniting. His words to both locker rooms echoed beyond the building: "This is more than lucha. This is more than sports entertainment. This is our soul." Then came the title matches, contests that meant more than gold. They were fights for identity. Wes Lee, the agile NXT standout, defended the NXT North American Championship against AAA's Dragon Lee in what could only be described as ballet mixed with brutality. Counter after counter, leap after leap, the ring ropes barely had time to rest. And when Dragon Lee finally caught Wes in a devastating knee strike, the audience rose in disbelief. But Wes kicked out. And when he rallied, when he hit his finisher out of nowhere, when he collapsed with his title held to his chest, it was the face of a man who knew he had just gone through war. He knew he had just earned his belt 100 times over. No storyline could manufacture this level of raw glory. The next bout. It was chaos. A six-man tag team match that became a symphony of madness. NXT's Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes teamed with Santos Escobar to face AAA's Psycho Clown, Laredo Kid, and Taurus. Every second was unfiltered adrenaline. Trick was the heartbeat, Carmelo was the spark, and Santos, the soul. But Psycho Clown, he was thunder personified. He rallied the crowd in ways few could. And when the dust settled, it was Taurus who roared last, planting Escobar with a black Taurus bomb so vicious, even the referees winced. Then, as shadows stretched across the ring, the main event took shape like a myth being written in real time. The AAA Mega Championship was on the line. Ilja Dragunov, the Mad Tsar of Pain from WWE, versus AAA's Blood Prince, Sam Adonis. Both men had walked through fire to get here. Both carried their promotions on their shoulders. Both came to bleed, break, and be born anew. The bell rang, and what followed was not a wrestling match. It was an epic. Fists like mallets. Chops that echoed across Inglewood. Sam Adonis brought the showmanship. Ilja brought the storm. The two tore through each other as if neither would allow the other to exist after tonight. Dragunov screamed in defiance. Adonis spat in the face of pain. They locked up like titans crashing into one another, like hurricanes colliding mid-sky. And when Dragunov nailed the torpedo Moscow and collapsed atop his rival, becoming the new AAA Mega Champion, time stood still. The crowd didn't just cheer. They cried. They felt it in their bones. They knew they had witnessed something generational. Triple H emerged. He shook hands with Dorian rolled on. Two empires had formed a union not built on contracts, but on passion, respect, and destiny. Stephanie McMahon, standing beside them, smiled like someone who saw the future and liked what she saw. This was wrestling without borders. This was storytelling without subtitles. This was the embodiment of the global language of pain, perseverance, and performance. The fans who filled the stands were not just observers. They were participants in history. They waved Mexican flags next to WWE signs. They chanted names in English and Spanish. They sang, cried, gasped, and believed. And outside, in the streets of Inglewood, the echoes lingered long after the final bell. Kids in Rey Mysterio masks ran side by side with those in Trick Williams shirts. Conversations swirled in 2 languages. Phones lit up with match clips and replays already going viral. Worlds Collide was not a gimmick. It was not a marketing stunt. It was proof. Proof that wrestling is art. Proof that legacy is stronger than rivalry. Proof that when cultures meet with open hearts and clenched fists, magic happens. As the sun set and Money in the Bank loomed on the horizon, WWE didn't just close a chapter, it opened a universe. And now, every fan, every wrestler, every dreamer knows one truth. The worlds have collided, and they will never separate again.